Kaboom! Trump's next executive order leaked, Libs in panic mode. Amid his campaign, Trump promised to actualize official requests to upset different requests that were constrained by Obama. As far back as he took office, Trump has followed through on his guarantee. Consistently, President Trump shocks with new orders, the main one being his 90-day Muslim ban from some Muslim-majority countries that are terrorist hotbeds. This request has met restriction from government agents and Trump's quick reaction by terminating them. In any case, in the event that we are to trust one news report, Trump has in store one progressively that will perpetually dispose of that dishonesty eluded arrange as a Muslim ban for good as far as contention. Obtained by the Washington Post, the orders would supposedly deny admission to any outsider who is probably going to end up noticeably an open charge and set up models for deciding if an outsider is deportable, for having turned into an open charge inside 5 years of the section. To be a public charge is only one all the more method for saying accepting welfare and other free government benefits. The fundamental point here is making the U.S. movement system more legitimacy-based. Detailed New York Magazine. The order would likewise banish undocumented migrants from getting to the kid-imposed credit, notwithstanding when their youngsters are U.S. residents, which would be an overwhelming to undocumented settler families planning to take advantage of their grapple babies. As the Center for Immigration Studies revealed, in 2012 approximately 51% of all settler families got welfare. For heirs, residents of Western nations, not only the United States, have protested that newcomers were living off welfare and getting other free treats while citizens were constrained to pay. These individuals were regularly rejected as racists by the elites, who are slanted on driving a multicultural, communist ideal world of future dynamic voters. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Share the truth, be patriots. Thank you for reading. Trump's DOJ just sent the one letter to sanctuary cities they never wanted to open. On the campaign trail, President Donald Trump vowed to get tough on sanctuary cities, and ever since being sworn in, he has taken action to follow through on that promise. For Trump's latest move against cities that defy or ignore federal law when it comes to illegal immigrant issues, the Department of Justice sent a letter to 9 jurisdictions around America, warning them that they need to comply with federal immigration laws or risk losing federal funding, the Daily Caller reported. The letters were sent to New Orleans, Las Vegas, Chicago, New York City, Philadelphia, Miami, and Milwaukee. The state of California, and Cook County, Illinois also received letters. The letters remind the recipient jurisdictions that, as a condition for receiving certain financial year 2016 funding from the Department of Justice, each of these jurisdictions agreed to provide documentation and an opinion from legal counsel validating that they are in compliance with Section 1373, said a statement released by the Justice Department. It is unclear what, if any, effect these letters will have on the sanctuary cities. Many of the most prominent cities, like New York City, have refused to comply with the Trump administration's orders, and it seems doubtful this letter will change their mind. Miami, on the other hand, has already agreed to come into federal compliance. This isn't the first time these cities have been threatened, but it is the first threat that carries an actual cutoff date. The New York Times noted that the letters give the cities and other jurisdictions until June 30 to show they are in compliance with the laws, or they risk losing any 2016 federal grant money they haven't received yet. CNN noted that the letters also pointed out that crime in several of the cities that were sent letters has been increasing, something that the DOJ blamed on illegal immigration. It's nice to finally see an administration cracking down on cities that blatantly disobey the law. If these cities want to harbor illegals who are criminals, they are going to pay the price. Our tax dollars shouldn't be funding local administrations that are harboring fugitives, and thanks to the Trump administration, pretty soon we won't have to worry about funding these cities anymore. Share this on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you think the Trump administration should do to sanctuary cities. What did you think of this letter? Scroll down to comment below. Breaking: Israel makes shock move against Syria. The tense situation in Syria and the surrounding area may have just heated up. Syrian government forces are already engaged in a complicated skirmish which involves the US and Russia, along with anti-government rebel groups. Now, Israel has reportedly launched a missile strike against the Syrian army. That strike was reportedly carried out from the airspace above the Golan Heights, which Israel partially controls. According to Sputnik News, the targets were Syrian forces located in the province of Quneitra. Enemy warplanes of Israel launched 2 missiles from the occupied territory, Golan Heights, at 1845, local time, on one of the positions of our army. It caused material damage, a Syrian source allegedly told the Russian news agency. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed a strike, and stated that it was a response to an earlier incident in the Golan Heights. In response to the projectiles fired from Syria that hit the northern Golan Heights earlier this evening, the IDF targeted the launch sites, an IDF representative stated on Twitter. Moments ago, a projectile was launched from Syria and hit an open area in the northern Golan Heights. No injuries have been reported, the same IDF account reported hours before the Quneitra strike. It is not known if that projectile was targeting Israeli troops specifically, or if a stray weapon such as a mortar shell had hit an Israeli-controlled area by mistake. A similar exchange between Syria and Israel occurred last year. In November, the IDF said a missile believed to be launched from Syria hit the Israeli-controlled northern Golan Heights without causing any casualties, Sputnik News stated about the previous incident. The IDF responded with retaliatory fire. The Golan Heights is a heavily disputed region which sits between Israel and Syria. A large western section of the land is administered by Israel, while the smaller eastern side is controlled by Syria. While the squabbling between the two countries over the disputed land is not new, Israel's strike could spark increased tensions in the troubled area. The situation could already be described as convoluted, with a handful of different forces, including the powerful American and Russian governments, each pushing for different goals. It's likely that Syria and its neighbors will be front-page news for the foreseeable future. HT, Gateway Pundit. If you're interested in this latest development, please share this story with your friends on Facebook. What do you think about this strike? Scroll down to comment below. Tucker Carlson lands Caitlyn Jenner for first interview and show's new time slot. After Bill O'Reilly's dismissal from Fox News, Tucker Carlson made some big news with the announcement that he would be moving into O'Reilly's 8 p.m. time slot. Now, he's going to be celebrating the move by having one of the most famous, and controversial, individuals in America as a guest. According to Variety, Carlson will be facing off with Caitlyn Jenner, the former Olympian, reality show star and transgender activist, when Carlson makes the jump to 8 p.m. on Monday. The booking in the old time slot of the O'Reilly factor is an interesting one. O'Reilly was one of the most vocal critics of Jenner's public profile, when Jenner announced in 2015 that he was thenceforth identifying as a woman. O'Reilly said, "Pardon me for this, but from the waist down, he is a he." Jenner confirmed earlier this week that she has had gender reassignment surgery, according to Access Hollywood, and is promoting a new book, The Secrets of My Life. Jenner also claims to have voted for President Trump but has now turned against him due to his perceived actions against the transgender community. "I'm interested in Caitlyn Jenner's politics and what it must be like to be in that position," Carlson said during an appearance Friday on Fox News The 5. "People coming at you from both sides. And so I want to have a conversation about it." Asked whether Jenner was a conservative, Carlson said, "That's my understanding. I mean, this is the first interview we've done, so I don't really know. But I've read that and I'm interested in it, and I'm also interested in the idea that people sort of wind up spokespeople for a cause or a group maybe against their will. And I don't know if that's the case here, but I'm going to try and find out," Carlson added. You can see that even other anchors at Fox News were stunned that Tucker managed to get Jenner as a guest. Carlson certainly couldn't have hoped for a bigger splash than that. If anything could make viewers forget about the ugliness regarding how he ended up at 8 p.m., that's certainly it. Busted. Republicans push to end Democrats' personal welfare fraud scheme, you'll cheer. Welfare fraud represents billions, if not trillions of dollars in government waste each year. And keeping in mind that it's typically a wrongdoing related with unlawful migrants and those in the criminal black market, in some cases it's a previous U.S. congressman who's running the fraud. Such is the situation with this event here. This story comes to us from Chicago, where Jesse Jackson Jr. has been gathering over $100,000 in workers' remuneration, despite the fact that he conceded to plundering his own particular campaign finance and served a jail term as a result of it. Indeed, Republican Representative Rodney Davis has had enough and is endeavoring to change the law and close down Jackson's welfare trick. From the Chicago Sun-Times. I believe if you're a member of Congress and you are convicted of stealing campaign funds, you should not be eligible to receive workers' compensation benefits. Members of Congress need to be good stewards of taxpayer money, Davis said. We're reviewing the process and possible legislative options to prevent the abuse of this program that is meant for honest working taxpayers, he said. Every single government worker, including individuals from Congress, are qualified for laborers' comp, as per the law, in the event that they endure from wounds supported in the execution of obligation while in support of the United States. On account of healthy privacy laws, people, in general, is not qualified for recognizing what sort of employment-related harm Jackson, 52, said he endured on June 1, 2012, while playing out his obligations as an individual from Congress. Unbelievable. Thank God there's a Republican willing to make a move and put a conclusion to this. The main reason that we are getting some answers concerning this now is on account of Jackson is experiencing a chaotic separation from his wife, to additionally serve time for helping him attack his crusade.